Welcome one and welcome all to VRML CON 2025. I'm your host today for this semifinals match. My name is Yellow Hat, and it's not on my head. It's actually sitting in the spotlight right there, soaking in that light. So it's enjoying the time, and we'll be enjoying the time today. But what do we got today, right here, right now? We've got our semifinal VRML VAIL match here first. But first, we gotta talk about what is VAIL, what is VRML, what is all this going on here today for those of us that are newer here. So let's talk about the wonderful game that we're gonna see, which is called VAIL. VAIL is a 5v5 first-person VR shooter, and it features an attacking team and a defending team. We're going to get into those details a little bit later on, but that attacking team is trying to take down one of two objectives around the map, and the defense has to try to stop that at all costs. And so VAIL, it's been around for a long time. I think probably 2017, 2018, give or take there. It was in its early alpha stages, and it has just blossomed into a wonderful first-person shooter game. And so, it's doing everything with its recent updates. We're going to be even seeing a bit of an extraction shooter mode. They're maybe kind of chasing battle royale, but their core focus has been always 5v5 tactical search and destroy. And so VAIL there, the other great thing about it is that it has, it is, what was I gonna say? It is a game that has recently also gone free to play as well. And so that has just brought in a huge player base there, and it's just been growing ever since its inception back in the day. And it's appealing to more audiences. It's trying to grow to all VR enjoyers. And so VAIL, again, it's a game that has been around for so long, and there's so many people that enjoy playing it at the highest level, which you're going to see today, and even at a more casual level too. It kind of brings everybody that plays VR together. So, but anyways, getting into it as well, what is VRML? So yesterday we had some really awesome action with two other games, and VRML is the premier competitive league for VR esports, and so we're actually going to get into the game here, and featuring our two teams. Of course, we have REKT over on our right, the number 2 seed, and then we have RIPTIDE over on left, our number 3 seed. And so we're actually going to be playing on the first map, which is called Suna. And we're going to get right into the action here, ladies and gentlemen. So Sheer and Blue 4 both picking up kills. Muffins also picking up Nebula there, bringing it immediately to a 3 versus 3. Plunge picking up Jacob there, bringing it to a 3 versus 2. And so we know what teams are what. We've got REKT over on the Rayab side. They are on the defense. And then we've got RIPTIDE over on the attack, which is the colonist side. And so those colonists are trying to destroy the objectives that you can see here on our screen. Blue 4 and Fizzy and Plunge getting the trade and winning the round for RIPTIDE for round number 1. And folks, so that we know as well too, the score is going to go to 9. So the first team to win 9 rounds is going to be winning the map. And we're playing a best of 3 today. So the first team to take 2 out of 3 maps is going to be moving on to that grand finals over in the main stage. You'll see in a little bit here. But let's follow along with our attackers here. And the beauty of the game too is that you can play it fast, as we saw last round, or you can play it slow. So anyways, we're going to be continuing on here, and a bit of a split fight. Keezy going to be picking up the first kill on to Jacob there. Elite picking up Sheer, and now RIPTIDE with the 5 versus 3 advantage. They have control of the round at this time. And again, they can do anything that they want. They can bring the scanner, over to one site. They can fake it and go to the other site. So the options are plentiful for them at this point. And especially with those 2 initial kills, they're really picking up that map control. And they still have plenty of time. Tanky picking up Blue 4 there, and picking up a second onto Nebula. And the map is open completely for RIPTIDE here. Fizzy finding himself in a 1 versus 5 situation here. Minute left on the clock. He's trying to find one. Does find the kill on the Plunge. Now it's to try to make it 4 more. And now that scanner goes down, as you can see here. And you can see the little timer there. Once the scanner's planted, the enemy has 45 seconds to try to interrupt it. So time is ticking down for Fizzy here as he tries to make his way around and try to see if he can break open this site defense now. But again, He's burned half the clock already. Smoke's going to be going down. Flash is going to be going out. Going to be blinding the screen a little bit there. Fizzy just trying to make something happen there. But Elite immediately takes him down. And RIPTIDE picking up a second round there. You can hear the comms of our players here, and especially with everybody being so close, everybody's going to be hearing all the call-outs. So you guys are actually getting a bit of a show here. You're getting the front row action to what it's like to be a VR esports player. And as we're getting into the start of the round here, too, you can see a lot of our players are wearing BOBO VR head straps, and with that, they also have the battery packs on the back as well, so they're keeping them in the game and keeping them comfortable as they play VR. So we're going to see a bit of a split play here once again, and, you know, util being exchanged on both sides. Both teams trying to just make something happen. A little bit of damage traded on both sides. As you can see over on the bottom, those little green bars are representing the health that individual players have, and they don't recover. So if somebody's low, they're not getting a second chance of getting full health again. So another thing to note, Flash going out. Sheer picking up the first. Fizzy with the crossfire onto Muffins there, but Plunge answers right back. And so does Nebula there, and just the kills going back and forth just like that. And now a 2 versus 3 situation here for RIPTIDE. Elite just slowly crouching. They need to find that scanner. The time ticking down, 55 seconds left on that clock. What are they going to do here? They have still control of the round, and it's anybody's game here. Jacob and Fizzy just trying to defend, trying to see what point, you know, what site that they're going to wind up attacking here. And, you know, time is ticking. There's not too much, you know, they can't really do a lot of raps or anything. So, you know, again, it's sounding like maybe those footsteps perhaps have been heard. You can hear the players. Nate's coming out. Jacob finds the one onto Tanky. Can he find the second? He does onto Elite there. The double kill, and REKT picking up their first round there on the board. And now we're into round number 4 here. Again, folks, it's going to be the first team to 9 points in order to win a map. So, you know, we're still a ways away. And the other thing I should note, too, is after the 8th round, the teams will actually swap sides. So you'll see REKT then on the offense, and then RIPTIDE over on the defense. But getting back into it here, Plunge finding that opening pick onto Sheer, but Nebula immediately getting that refrag there. Still plenty of time here as we only get into the intro of the round. Keezy trying to find some action here over towards that B side. And we have a bit of utility exchange. Nebula maybe going a little aggressive here. Jacob does find the kill onto Elite. Some shots firing out from Nebula, trying to see if maybe he can find something. Gets a little bit glimpse of those RIPTIDE players. Minute 15, dodges some util here. And maybe a bit of a reconsideration from RIPTIDE, but again, it's just a matter of who's going to peek first, who's going to try to, you know, engage here. It's just a back and forth. And another thing, folks, you know, you may be seeing these outlines of the players, but the players themselves cannot see that. So that is the beauty of being able to watch the cast, is we get a little bit more information. But of course, you know, these players are relying on their team comms and everything else, sound cues, to make things happen. Keezy finding the kill onto Jacob there. Going to be splitting up that defense just a little bit, but 40 seconds left on the clock. Trying to make something happen. Fizzy picks up the kill onto Tanky there. Keezy has control of the scanner. Needs to try to make something happen. 30 seconds left though. Nebula extending there and gets rewarded with the kill onto Muffins there. And now it's a hunt for the last player on RIPTIDE. Keezy in a 1 versus 3 to make it happen. 15 seconds. They have to plant the scanner, but Nebula comes out with the swing, and REKT is going to be picking up a second round there. And you can hear the teams already strategizing here, trying to figure out exactly, you know, what they want to do. They're trying to adapt to each other, and that's the beauty of the game here too. You don't see just the same pushes over and over and over again. It's a constant game of adaptation. You have to try to figure out where the enemy is if you're on the attack, and if you're on the defense, you know, try to figure out where the attackers are coming from, and, you know, exactly what time they're coming from too. So again, a little bit of a slower play that we're seeing here. And again, the beauty of the game is that RIPTIDE with them being on the attack, they're in control of the pace of the round. And especially you want that as the offense. You don't want to let the defense try to control the pace, because if you let that happen, then that does spell trouble. Minute 25 on that clock. Util being exchanged once again over towards the B side. You can hear the beeping of the nades and smokes. Jacob finding the first kill. Finds a second, finds a third on a tanky. Completely ripping apart that offense, and he's going for more. But Plunge shuts it down onto Jacob there. A little bit of a hot play there. 3 kills coming out from the captain of REKT themselves, Jacob. And the round has slowed down. Blue 4 finds the kill onto Elite. And now Plunge finds himself in a 1 versus 4 situation here. 50 seconds left. Does have control of the scanner. Trying to see exactly what. And he gets spotted out. Shots ringing out. Does pop out. And is not able to make it happen. Blue 4 putting an end to that round with a nice 2K of his own. And REKT are starting to come alive here. 3-2. The first time they have taken the lead. And briefly, while we're in the pre-round here, let's talk a little bit about our teams here. REKT being the defending VRML VAIL champs from last year, having taken out Acer and being your number 2 seed, and then RIPTIDE trying to make a statement of their own, being the number 3 seed. So it's going to be a very close match. I am almost certain of it. So getting back into the round here, maybe a bit of a change of approach here. Flashbang does come out. And already nades coming through. Busy with the nade onto Muffins. Blue 4 picking up a kill of their own. And Plunge taking out Fizzy finally, but not before he finds another. And again, Plunge finding himself in a 1 versus 4. This REKT defense looking impenetrable here. And Jacob putting a quick end to that. REKT extending their lead by 2 rounds here as they pick up the 4th round. So the worst that could happen for REKT at this point is a tie half, but they're looking to extend that lead, and RIPTIDE trying to see if they can make something happen here. So we are into round number 7 here. We're going pretty quick. That was a pretty quick last round, I'd have to say so for myself. But, you know, maybe we see a little bit of a change of pace again, but that all depends. So anyways, we're going here. Shots already ringing out over towards the middle of the map, and that's going to be called over to the teammates of REKT. Again, just the game, it's kind of like a game of chess. You know, you kind of poke and prod, see where the enemy is, and then eventually you wind up making that move, and it's seeming like that util is ringing out. Elite and Buffets, ooh, taking a little bit of damage there. Sheer going to be picking up that first kill onto Elite, and the defense is just cutting down RIPTIDE. They're trying to spam through the smoke. What's the tank they're finding once of their own. Nebula answers right back, and REKT picking up yet another round with 5 on the board. And let's have a look at our scoreboard briefly here as we can pull it up here. Jacob, the captain of REKT, 8-5. Fizzy not too far behind, 6-4. Plunge going to be leading the charge for RIPTIDE, 7-6, and Tanky, their captain, 5-6. So, you know, we're going to see some more kills coming through, and we just have a couple rounds left before we wind up swapping sides here, ladies and gentlemen. It's still early in the morning, but it's all good. And these players are alive and awake and, you know, already getting into the action here. But again, we're seeing some really nice teamwork here from REKT. A little bit of a peek here. Elite actually picking up that first kill onto Blue 4. Fizzy holding it down, though, over on that A site. Tanky finding Jacob. Sheer immediately finding the refrag there. Bringing it back to a 3 versus 3. So both teams approximately the same amount of health, same amount of players. It's anybody's game still here, folks. And they have, and RIPTIDE have plenty of time on that clock just to make things happen here. So minute 10. You gotta wonder when things can happen. Ooh, Nebula getting cut down right away. Sheer picking up Keezy. Now 2 versus 2. The smoke for the cross, the spam of the bullets. One player gets tagged a little bit. Scanner gets thrown. And eventually, it's going to go down. 50 seconds left on the clock. And the defense, I think they're weird. What's happening? Sheer picking up the kill onto Muffins there. And now Plunge in a 1 versus 2, but Sheer says no. And he puts an end to that. REKT extending their lead even further, 6-2. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the side swap. So now REKT are going to be on the offense trying to make things happen. and RIPTIDE on the defense to try to make that not happen. So here we go. And the other thing to note too with VAIL is that the first round of each half features only pistols. You won't be seeing any rifles. So you're going to be seeing a little bit more, you know, bunched up of players. It's going to be who gets that volume of fire on the other team. So pistol round also, you won't see as many long-range engagements here. So a little bit of a split right here. Change gets the first kill on the Keezy, trying to open this up here. So answering with a double. But the sight play still continues. Busy making it a double of his own. And that scanner going to be going right down. And now the time is ticking for the RIPTIDE defense here. A 2 versus 2 retake situation. Elite and Muffins versus Fizzy and Shear's Caboose. The experienced Muffins with the headshot onto Fizzy. And now Shear in a 1 versus 1 against Muffins. Trying to make it happen. Has to fall back as Elite did get tags on them. But 20 seconds left on that clock. 7 seconds required for the defuse. The time is ticking for Elite here as he tries to make things happen. A bit of a touch of the scanner. 10 seconds. Does he peek? Shear gets it and he holds on! And RIPTIDE going to be stealing the round away from REKT, earning themselves the 3rd point on the board. A wonderful clutch coming in from Elite. RIPTIDE, that was certainly a round they needed. You can kind of hear them. They want to bring this back. They want to make it even. They have the capacity to do it. Some of our casters had talked a little bit before this show, and they were saying that RIPTIDE could really put a dent in REKT here. So we're going to see if they're going to be able to make that happen. Muffin's taking a little bit of damage over there. Minute 45, still plenty of time, only the beginning of the round. And RIPTIDE just kind of poking and prodding, just seeing, you know, where's that weakness in the defense? How can we exploit this REKT defense and split them apart and try to win here, try to come back? They have that possibility. They're all very talented and capable players over on the RIPTIDE side of things. Time ticking, nobody really damaged within the past 20 seconds or so. Again, just that poking and prodding. Muffins finds the first kill onto Jacob over on Catwalk. Nebula finding Keezy. Can he make it another? Oh, a nade that gets Nebula there. Elite with a very wonderful utility usage. And as we were just saying, that REKT defense being split up there a little bit. This was a little bit of a failed toss of the grenade. Going to be falling back over. 55 seconds left. Going to see what they can work with. Maybe a bit of a distraction with that revolver. Not sure what that was, but hey, you know. Gotta be creative these days. So, you know, again, you can even hear the teammates kind of calling out the time to each other, trying to see, you know, exactly what's going to happen. Are they going to commit to one side? Are they going to, you know, do a little funny business? Who knows? 25 seconds though, and you know, the time is really ticking. You can, oh man, this is actually just wonderful to just listen, actually be this close to the player comms and hear them. But Blue 4 finding one before Plunge takes out Blue 4 there. And now 5 seconds left, and that scanner is going to have to go down. But does he have the time? No, Plunge going to be taking him out and getting another round for RIPTIDE there. They're starting to come back 4-6. And again, you can hear the team strategizing, and you got to wonder exactly what is going on, you know, what they want to try to do, try to adapt here. You know, REKT, they've lost the last couple of rounds, and admittedly, it's been pretty close. It came down 1v1, 1 versus 2, but ultimately, that's how you know you have a good game. You have these back and forth rounds. So a little bit of a peek there. Elite finds one, but unfortunately not able to find more for their case. And then another trade going the way of both teams. So even scoreline, 3 versus 3. Keezy trying to find some pre-fire here. Minute 30, and RIPTIDE, or actually, excuse me, REKT having taken over the B site. But the question is, Keezy finds the planter. It's going to stop that scan from going down. But Shear taking out Keezy. And now a 2 versus 2. One cross in the corner. Shear finds a second, and now it's Plunge in the clutch situation with a minute 10. Gets spotted just barely. Scanner does go down, and now the time is ticking against Plunge. 1 versus 2. You can hear the comm. He was spotted. Util goes out. Smoke's going out. A little bit of spam through the smoke. Plunge needs to try to accelerate this retake, but Blue 4 going to be shutting that down. And REKT going to be taking round number 7. They are 2 rounds away from winning game number 1. So we're getting down to the wire, folks. But RIPTIDE, they definitely still have that fight in them. You know, they're bringing these rounds super close. They're trying to make things happen. And, you know, in some instances, they are definitely succeeding. They definitely have that caliber of play for them. So let's see if they can continue on their defense here. So we're going to be seeing, again, a bit of a split play. Nothing, you know, nothing really committal just yet. And actually, we'll see kind of what happens again. You know, again, as I was saying earlier, the beauty of being on the attacking side is that you can have full control of the pace of the round. Jacob does get taken out over towards that B long area, and you know, maybe a little bit of attention drawn. But as I say here, the Utah coming in, Plunge getting taken out over on the A site, and they've been duped, they've been faked out. Scanner going down, but it goes down, but Fizzy goes down as well. He just gets that plant in on time, and now a 4 versus 2 retake for RIPTIDE here. Muffins finds Nebula over in tons. Sheer now on the 1 versus 3 clutch to try to stop this defuse from happening. Flashbang coming through. 25 seconds left on the clock. Finds the 1, but Elite takes him out. And RIPTIDE going to be finding another round, and they're going to be able to have plenty of time to get the defuse down. 5-7, RIPTIDE, they're answering back. They're not out of this one yet, and you can see them doing a little bit of gun trick on the floor as well there too, so. A wonderful retake from RIPTIDE. They played it well, even though they were faked out by that REKT offense. They were able to retake with such swift precision, and they got it done. So 7-5, REKT again, only 2 rounds away from taking map number 1 in this best of 3 series. Tank. Keezy finding Blue 4. But Blue 4 takes Tanky with him as well, so a 1 for 2 trade. REKT on the man disadvantage here. Smoke's going down. A little bit of pre-fire. Plunge trying to see what he can do to make happen. Throw some counter util into this mix. And you got to wonder if the commit's there. Almost thought we had a little bit of a technical issue, but it seems like we're okay on our end. So, you know, good that we were able to push through that. And so, again, just Plunge. Players listening for sound cues, trying to see if they can make things happen here. So, minute left on that clock. REKT trying to see what they can make happen. Again, they're at that man disadvantage, 3 versus 4. Sheer, though, brings it back, getting that kill onto Muffins. Util coming out. Plunge finds 1, almost finds a second, but Nebula going to be taken out as well after getting that trade. And now it's Fizzy who finds a lead and brings it to a 1v1. And now the sound cue heard, the scanner goes down, and REKT with another fake play here. Fizzy, an experienced player. You can see that Vortex skin he's rocking, shout out. But, you know, he's going to be trying to find a position to where he can make things happen here. Keezy now on the 1 versus 1 clutch. Good amount of time been had already. 25 seconds left on that scan. And again, 7 seconds required to stop the scan from happening. He's got to clear everything as fast as possible. 15 left on the clock, and they fight each other. An awkward gunfight, but Fizzy bringing REKT to the round, to the map point, 8-5. One more point required for the REKT squad to win game number 1. Again, RIPTIDE, they're still playing really, really well. You know, that score line, it may not seem like it, but you know, they're having these very, very close rounds. Again, that last round being a 1 versus 1, and you know, again, several other rounds being 1v1s, 1 versus 2. So again, they have really good players on their team, and they're making things happen. So, anyways. Jacob finding the 1 onto Tanky. Entry fragging like a true captain there. Nebula trying to find 1 as well, but Plunge gets the 1. But REKT answer with 2 of their own. Muffins finding Jacobs, bringing it back to a 2 versus 3 for Riptide. Still a winnable situation here. Scanner does go down. REKT able to take that site with ease. Nade's going to be coming out. Riptide have to make this defuse happen. They have to try to win this round to stay in game number 1 here. 30 seconds left on the clock there. Elite finds Sheer, bringing it back to a 2 versus 2, and they have to clear everything. And the double swing, Blue 4 finding Muffin, and Fizzy finding the kill into Elite, and REKT are going to be your map number 1 winners, ladies and gentlemen. REKT taking it 9-5 on map number 1, and we're going to go to a quick ad break here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch you in just a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to map number 2 of the VAIL VRML CON. You know, that whole shebang. I'm stumbling my words here, but it's all good. We're in the map number 2 of the semifinals, and we are going to be playing Meiru here, which is another more recent map. Suna, that first map that you saw, that has been a staple of the VAIL map pool for quite some time. Meiru, though, a little bit newer of a map. Not completely new, but, you know, again, one that was actually originally a deathmatch map turned into a full-on artifact map. So we're getting our players into the lobby here in just a moment, and we'll be getting started in just a moment. But while we have this time together here before the game starts, let's talk about our teams a little bit, because we didn't really get to do that earlier. So we want to, you know, tell you all their stories and everything. So REKT, again, the defending champions from last year, trying to regain that title, the back-to-back. Wouldn't that be insane to see? And then, of course, over here, we have RIPTIDE, our 3rd seed, trying to make a statement here today, trying to make their way over to the finals. And I would actually like to shout out, if you see on the RIPTIDE players' sleeves, they have the number 32 on it, and that's actually, I was told to say this here, so that number 32 is representing one of the Captain Tanky's good friends who unfortunately passed away. So, you know, they're playing for him today, and, you know, they're putting their heart and soul into it. But just wanted to give a quick shout out to that. So getting into the game now, though, we're going to again be seeing REKT over on that defense, and then we're going to be seeing the offense of RIPTIDE. Actually, perhaps I think we restarted the lobby, so we have a little bit more time to talk. How about that? So, again, you know, we're talking about REKT. You know, they have such experience on their roster. You know, they're players that I've played with over in different games and in VAIL as well that have been around for quite some time. And then, you know, I mean, longer than I've been. Some players here have been playing VR 6, 7, even like 8 years. So a wealth of experience on this REKT roster. And they're no stranger to the VR FPS scene, as yesterday they took that title over in Pavlov, and, you know, they earned themselves one of these lovely medals, and the VAIL players are going to be trying to fight for one of these medals today as well after this game. So, you know, REKT, again, no stranger to the VR FPS scene. And then RIPTIDE, again, they bring their own experience. They have a lot of experienced VAIL players and, you know, players from other games that are getting into VAIL, and they're just quickly adapting. You know, Plunge over there, for example, was on that Acer roster that won VRML CON last year over in the Breacher space. So, you know, again, when we're talking about wealth of experience, I don't take that lightly. They've got plenty, you know, some of these players have championships under their belts, season victories, and so, you know, they're bringing the heat as well. So, again, let's talk about our map Meiru here, though. So, as I mentioned earlier, it was originally a deathmatch map, and, you know, it was actually the first official map of VAIL way back in the day. It was this little deathmatch map, you know, just kind of a square of a map, and then, you know, within the past couple of years, it was fully repurposed into an artifact map, which artifact is that main game mode that we are playing here today. But, you know, again, it's a fan favorite here, and it looks like we might have to either find a new lobby or something. So give me just one moment here. But again, you know, just Meiru just being pretty much a fan favorite map. It tends to lean itself over towards the defense here, but we'll see if, you know, REKT are going to be able to hold on to that defense, as they are going to be starting over there, and then we're going to see RIPTIDE over on the attack. So we're going to be getting into a new surface. You can kind of hear some numbers there, so give us just a moment, maybe cut over to something, but either way, we're just getting in there. Just one moment here, folks. I think this would be another wonderful time to actually shout out some sponsors, I think, while we have some time, too, because we didn't really get to do that either during the first match, so everything's going really fast. So I want to shout out, of course, a lovely gun stock company that has been around in the scene for quite some time. They actually made this custom beauty. This is the ProTube VR gun stock, and you can actually see they even made a custom one with Phoenix on the back of it. So I believe one person may have the chance to win this. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing with it, but again, I mean, I use ProTube cups on my Quest controllers. They're great. Also, shout out BOBO VR. You can see a lot of these players are wearing those BOBO VR head straps. That little circle that you see in the front, that's actually an air conditioning, keeping our players cool as they're trying to play the game. And then on the back, you can see a little removable battery as well. And let me tell you, I mean, those batteries, they last for forever. I mean, you get a couple hours of charge, and that's about it before you have to recharge it. You have 2 batteries on there. You have infinite standalone gaming, and I'm serious about that. You can do like 6-8 hour sessions if you want. They keep the life in that Quest so long. Also, shout out to HyperX, who's been another long-standing sponsor of the VRML. You know, we have keyboards that we're giving away. We're giving away headsets, and you know, plenty of HyperX gear to go around. So be sure to stay tuned for that. So again, we do thank all of our sponsors that make, you know, VRML what it is. So we're going to be taking just a short break here real quick as we, you know, figure out some technical stuff. So we will catch you in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Stick with us. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us through that as we figured out server stuff, but we're going to be getting into the action quite shortly here. Again, map number 2 going to be Meiru, a classic of the VAIL map pool here, and we're going to be seeing REKT taking the defense here over on Rayab, and we're going to be getting into that action in just a second here as we got that map loaded up, and then RIPTIDE. Again, so Meiru going to be the map of choice here. And we're going to be seeing REKT over on that defense and then RIPTIDE over on the offense. And as I was saying earlier, you know, Meiru tends to be a defender-sided map, so we'll see if, you know, RIPTIDE are going to be able to make strides over on that offense. But I think we're, you know, after a couple map rerolls, I think we're finally into this one here. So We're going to be getting started with map number 2, round number 1. Actually, this time. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for map number 2. All right, so again, RIPTIDE on that offense as we get in here to that first pistol round. You know, they all get util, but they only get pistols, so it's going to be who has that faster trigger finger, who's got that volume of fire. And again, that util already ringing out, shots ringing out. It's a blitzkrieg over onto the A site here as smoke, or B site here as the smokes do come down. Incendiaries come down. Blue 4 finding the first grenade kill onto Keezy there. And again, those colonists trying to make things happen. Sanger picking up 1, but Jacob getting the refrag there, tanking one of his own, bringing it to a 2 versus 3 for the colonists there. Plunge finds one to the side. Kiwi getting taken out. Now Plunge. 2 kills against Blue 4, one of the most experienced VAIL players. And the tempo is completely slowed down. A little bit of spam through the box. Trying to see if he can make something happen. Shots ringing out, but Blue 4 turns it around, clutching it out for REKT. Again, these rounds so close between both of these teams. You could tell the caliber of these players. Again, you know, we were talking about REKT, how some of these players have been playing VR for so long. I mean, and then RIPTIDE, they also have a wealth of experience on them as well here, folks. So, again, that pistol round so close. Plunge doing everything he can, getting a double kill, but not necessarily able to get that triple kill, unfortunately. So, and util some ringing out a little bit. Couple smokes down in mid, try to, you know, poke and prod the attention there of the defense. Util ringing out. Again, just 3-5 through the smokes. Sanger finds 1, Elite and Tanky both picking up kills. Plunge picking up Jacob, and then Blue 4 returning with a frag of their own, trying to make things happen, but he gets cut down quickly. And now it's Kiwi in a 1 versus 3, trying to see if he can make something happen here. Throws a little bit of util to figure out how to get into the site. Ooh, a kill on a Tanky over in mid, trying to stop that mid lurk. A little bit of freezing there, but I think we're right here. Kiwi now in a 1 versus 2. A little bit of free fire. Oh my goodness, finds 1. Reloads. Oh, and he gets him on the plunge. Kiwi with the 1 versus 3 for REKT, and with plenty of time to defuse. REKT going to be taking another round, putting up 2 points on the board.
Fist bump, bro. Stick your hand out. Stick your hand out.
You can see them trying to go for a fist bump. This man unfazed right here, ladies and gentlemen.
To your left. To your left.
There it is. Hey, we get a round of applause for that. Let's go. 2-0 for REKT here, ladies and gentlemen, and a wonderful 1 versus 3 clutch from Kiwi, a man that I've played both Path and VAIL with for so long. The ability to make things happen. Good on him there. So again, we're getting into round number 3 here. So. Elite trying to make, ooh, Jacob finds the first one onto Tanky and some nade damage as well. So again, some good util users coming out at the REKT spot here. Them really showing their experience here. A little bit of interesting game stuff going on, but it happens. They're gonna try to fight through it here. Minute 23, the piece has been restored. Sahilo finds Parrot. Plunge though, getting that refrag. Jacob finding Keezy. Shots ringing out. Reload's trying to happen, and Sanger able to pick up the kill onto, and REKT picking up that 3rd round there on the board. Three to 0. REKT having gotten all 3 rounds so far, having a solid defense. And we did mention that this map was defender-sided, at least from what I've heard from conversations with a lot of the players and even my own playing experience here and there. So, you know, again, will RIPTIDE have a bit of an answer on that offense? We'll have to find out. Kiwi, though, does find Elite on that first kill. That REKT defense looking really strong. RIPTIDE trying to find some answer here. using their util to try to take some space here. And the pace of the round has completely shifted. It's slowed down. No noise being made by anyone, but a player's side has been spotted. Minute 10. You can hear, again, players calming to each other, trying to, confirming exactly what positions the other players are. Bit of a cheeky angle being held here, as you can see, and that's the beauty of VR too. When you're playing flat screen, you're only limited to being able to right hand shoot or left hand shoot. But in VR, you can just swap real quick, and you can hold the tightest of angles, and that's the beauty of it. You can manipulate your weapon however you want to make it happen. Corner's being cleared though. 40 seconds left. Tanky finds one, but Jacob and Blue getting trades of their own. Parrot also finding one as well. 2 versus 3 for RIPTIDE to try to make something happen here. And in 30 seconds on the clock, util being thrown, but Blue 4 finds one. And then, a quick headshot on the plunge as well. REKT finding a 4th round on the board. No answer from RIPTIDE just yet. The best they could hope for is a tied half, which would actually be pretty good for them if they were able to pull that off. But they just need one round to try to, get back into this. And they're the type of team to not back down even when, their backs are against the wall here. So, needless to say, we could hear the captains kind of calling their own strats, telling their players what to expect. util coming out, and it's a fast play coming in from RIPTIDE. Plunge finds Blue, Tanky fights Hisonger, and RIPTIDE finding 2, Vankrupt finding 3, can he find a 4th? He does! And Saikilo just like that to finish it up. Jacob with the 4K of his own, leading the team by example there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at that scoreboard. Jacob 8 and 4 on the board, Blue 4 6 and 2, Plunge 6 and 5 over on RIPTIDE, and Tanky 5 and 5. Kiwi only having died once in 5 rounds, so definitely doing great for his sake there and for his team's sake as well. So fast plays not working. So what is RIPTIDE going to do? How are they going to adapt to this one to try to make it happen here, folks? They have plenty of time to work with. 2 minutes. It might not be a lot of time, to us folk here, but it's so much time for all these players in this server. You can make a rotate happen in 20, 30 seconds or whatnot. You can, make a play happen, so on and so forth. So either way, just doing a little check there, but we're all good here. And again, the pace of the round has slowed down significantly. RIPTIDE, they've gotten their openings. They've gotten their opening frags, but REKT have just had such a good ability to get these refrags and to turn the rounds into their favor. The time has been used. 50 seconds left. What will RIPTIDE do here? Oh, a bit of a surprise as he heard from one of the players, but Jacob able to shut that down. Kiwi finding Tanky. Elite finding Hisonger. Oh, Elite finding Jacob as well. Bring it back to a 2-on-3, but Sai finds the lurk on Keezy there. Blue 4 finding Elite, and now it's Plunge. Oh, he finds a quick double. And now it's up to Kiwi again, and he does it, ladies and gentlemen. REKT 6-0 on the board. Kiwi is in fact him, according to our captain here. So 7-1 on the board, doing his job and staying alive. A little bit of a fist bump in game this time. No confusion around here, but 6-0 for the REKT squad, and definitely a stronger showing on this map than it was on Suna. So again, RIPTIDE needing to find an answer, even if they can find 2 rounds that can put him back here. Tanky going to be finding a spot there. A little bit of a jump spot coming in from Sai. A little bit of a cheeky knife throw as well, but doesn't connect. Tanky finding one, but Blue getting the trade there. 4 versus 4. Again, still plenty of time. 1:20 on the clock for RIPTIDE to complete this offense here. Plunge does get taken out, and that's actually... Ooh, Blue finding another one, so I believe that's 3 on the board for him. Parrot trading with Sai there, and now it's Elite in a 1 versus 2. The silence is almost deafening. You have to wonder where this player is, and he has to try to force his 1v1s as much as possible here. 50 seconds left. You gotta wonder, where could he be? He could be anywhere on the map. And there it is. The scan has started. Time is ticking for REKT to try to make this happen here. And Elite has to hold the fort on his own to give RIPTIDE a single round win of their own. Oh, that gun drop at the exact wrong time as Kiwi swings. And REKT. Kiwi being gifted the defuse as well, because apparently he's him. So 7-0 for REKT here. An almost near perfect half. They have one more round left to play here on the board, and RIPTIDE need to find an answer on this offense. Or even though the map is defender sided, you know, a 1 to 7 comeback, that would be quite difficult. So we'll see what is exactly going to happen. But again, anything could be tried at this point, you know. So Keezy going to be grabbing Scanner there. Util coming through. Smoke's coming through. Psychelo finds Elite there, but Tanky gonna get that refrag there, and that's gonna open up sight a little bit. Keezy finding one, but Blue shooting through the smoke there. Hasanger coming in with the refrag. Blue 4 finding the Kobe there on the Parrot with that nade, and now again Plunge finding himself in a clutch situation and a 1 versus 2, so completely doable if perhaps one of these REKT players makes a mistake. Minute 15 left on the clock. Scanner still has to go down, but he's got plenty of time to work with. Minute 5. Jacob getting taken out by Plunge. He forces the 1 versus 1. Plunge having control of this round here, but Blue 4. You can see his score down there in the bottom, 12-4 for him. You can tell the experience coming through. 45 seconds left, and these players, all they have to rely on is the sound of the other player's footsteps. So it's going to be a matter of sound cues to try to figure out where each player is. 30 seconds left. Plunge. Going to be getting it down. Scan is on the artifact. 40 seconds left on the defuse. And again, Blue 4 has, it takes 7 seconds to defuse. A little bit of pre-fire coming through. 25 seconds. Time is ticking. Blue 4 has to try to clear everything here. Plunge playing this masterfully. Time. 13 seconds left, and oh, he gets the kill somehow, but does he have the time? It's gonna be close here. 5 seconds left on the scan. 3, 2, 1, and RIPTIDE just barely get the round off of time alone. They are gifted it. So Plunge able to clutch it just by time alone, but Blue 4 so close yet so far. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we swap sides. So REKT now on the offense, RIPTIDE on the defense. The craziest thing we could see is a 9-7 comeback, or REKT have the ability to close this out. They are just 2 rounds away from advancing to the grand finals. Anyways, here we go. Shots ringing out. Parrot picking up the first on Kiwi. Nade coming out, Psychelo getting a double trade. Blue 4, again the nade on the Tanky. Keezy finding Jacob there. And RIPTIDE in a 2 versus 3 situation. Blue 4 finding 1. And now Plunge once again finding himself in a clutch situation here on the pistol. Smoke going to be going down, blocking that vision. And there it is. Blue immediately finding Plunge. 8-1. And let's have a look at this scoreboard as we go into what could be the final. my God, 16-4 off of Blue 4. He's having a heater of a game of his own. Jacob 9-7, Kiwi 8-3, and then Plunge doing work for Riptide 10-9, Tanky 7-9 there. So, man, Blue 4 definitely being the MVP for this game. So, 8-1. Jacob finding the nade kill on the Tanky from, from somewhere. Parrot and Jacob trading. And the REKT blitz comes in. Yuto coming through, plunging his Songer, throwing nades at each other. Kiwi finding. And that's it. 9-1. And REKT are going to be advancing on to the grand finals just like that. A quick ending. 9-1 for this game. REKT taking it on, and they will be advancing on to the grand finals over in the main stage. So folks, we will see you there in just a short bit. But again, congratulations to REKT for a hard-fought battle. They will be at least taking second place. They could even take first place here. So folks, it's been a pleasure to, cast over here doing the solo show on the alt stage. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will be seeing you all over on the main stage. And again, shout out to all of our sponsors. We've got ProTube VR, a long-standing sponsor of the VRML, alongside HyperX, who's going to be providing some giveaway gear, so you don't want to miss that. But folks, again, my name is Yellow Hat, and we will be seeing you over in the main stage. Keep it classy.